representation matters. And when you are talking about the people who hold the largest buying power in America, like, it's kind of like, talk to us nicely, like,
right.
Really correct, come with respect, come, ready to really have like our best interests at heart, because a lot of times these influencers are starting to out these brands at this point. Like, if these brands are not staying true to who they are portraying, if they're not, doing anything for Black History Month, if they're not doing anything for Black Business Month, or they're not paying these creators the same rate that they're paying white, they're getting called out. So it's at this point, it's for the best interest of your company to really include Black creators specifically. Because at this point, we're tired, we're fed up. Mm-hmm. We all are. Even if you're not a creator, we're tired of kind of being like the underdogs. And I think we're at the point where we're recognizing our power in all fronts. And like, if you're not going to value us, we're going to go somewhere else.
You're listening to the Black to Business Podcast, an educational podcast providing Black entrepreneurs with the tools and resources to start and grow their businesses. We chat with vetted Black entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and business owners as they provide tips and resources to help take your business to the next level. I'm your host, Monique T. Marshall. Welcome back to the Black to Business Podcast. So happy to have you here. So as people create businesses, it's becoming more and more important for these business owners to use all of the tools being offered to them, especially social media. Social media is the perfect way to gain a large audience and promote what you're offering. Also, it tends to provide quick results. Today's conversation will be vital to Black entrepreneurs looking for a platform to market their businesses and for those looking for businesses to support and uplift. The topic of today's episode is equity in influencer marketing, empowering Black brands and influencers. The expert joining us today is Jordyn Weaver. Jordyn is the founder of Forefront, which is a social app that allows users to discover, shop, and get paid to support Black brands. With her expertise in innovation and entrepreneurship, she's created something unique and efficient for business owners to utilize. During our discussion today, Jordyn's going to talk about understanding the different types of influencer marketing, how to identify the ideal influencer partnerships, and the significance of shopping Black. And we're also going to explore the rise of micro creators. So if you're just beginning the process of growing your brand or have been in the game for a number of years and want to try something new, Jordyn's got some tips and tricks for you. So without further ado, let's dive in. Jordyn, welcome to the Black to Business Podcast. So happy to have you here. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So today we're diving into all about your lane, equity and influencer marketing. But before we dive in, I like to tell my audience who we're speaking with. So if you could just give us a little rundown. I know we're going to go more in depth as the conversation progresses about who you are, what is it that you do in your business, and kind of how you got where you are today.
Yes, certainly. So I am Jordyn Weaver, the founder and CEO of Forefront. And a little bit backstory about who I am and kind of how I got to where I am now. I was born in Indianapolis, Indiana, but I really grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina. That's where I really kind of grew as an adult and really just transitioned to Atlanta, Georgia a couple of years ago to really pursue my entrepreneurial efforts. But just overall grew up as a PK pastor's kid. I was one of four, and I also have a twin sister. So really exciting, childhood and, a lot of fights and arguing, but just a lot of great stuff, great memories, and really just came from a family of entrepreneurs. My parents are entrepreneurs, and as I mentioned, my dad is a pastor. So, really was able to see him, start that and really run a nonprofit with my mom. So that's really how I kind of learned the ropes of entrepreneurship. And growing up, my sister and I did lemonade stands, babysitting, pet sitting, and all that kind of stuff. And once I got to high school and college, I really knew that I wanted to be a pharmacist. That was my goal, my dream growing up. And freshman year, I decided to change that. That was not my lane. So I eventually graduated. I went to North Carolina Central University in Durham, North Carolina, and studied fashion and had a minor in business. And that's really where my entrepreneurial journey started. Very ironically, I went to an HBCU 5 minutes away from the Black Wall Street, which I think played a pivotal role with what I'm doing today, which is, having that passion to build Black wealth and support Black-owned businesses, which I'm excited to get into a little bit more. But even after that, graduating in 2019, pandemic hit, and wanted to really pursue more of my entrepreneurial efforts. So I decided to go to UC Irvine to get my Masters in Innovation Entrepreneurship, just to really learn more about the ropes of what it takes to start and scale a company, an innovative company, something that I knew I wanted to take globally. So that was really my opportunity to learn that and to network. And that's really where Forefront was developed, really just an opportunity for me to take a look at the landscape of this Buy Black space. And at that time, so many people were talking about supporting Black-owned businesses, but I still didn't really see a solution that really fit the target demographic that I believe that we're targeting now with influencer marketing and things like that. So that's really how Forefront was developed at UC Irvine, just understanding the landscape of influencer marketing and how there's a huge opportunity to incorporate the Buy Black space with influencer marketing to really create a lane for Black brands and influencers to really earn and thrive. So a little bit more about Forefront. We are an affiliate marketplace that connects Black-owned brands and creators for affiliate partnerships, really just creating and bridging that gap for these brands and influencers to have the opportunity to earn in a crazy big market. It's a $16 billion market, but when you look at it, it's not really a lot of places or opportunities for brands, for Black brands or influencers to really take up space. And that's really what Forefront is here to do. So our mission is to really just bring Black brands and really creators to the forefront. So that's about me.
I love that. Such a beautiful journey. I love how you take us from the beginning to the end to now. I love it. Wonderful. Yes, and that's a perfect segue into, like I said, the conversation is all about equity and influencer marketing and empowering Black brands and influencers. So let's first start with the basics, understanding what influencer marketing and its impact actually is. So for those listeners who may be new to the concept, could you explain what influencer marketing is and how it can be a valuable tool for entrepreneurs?
Yes, absolutely. So what influencer marketing is an opportunity where brands, whatever industry you're in, you're able to partner with influencers and content creators that share your products with their audience, whether it's social media, whether it's through podcasts, whether it's through blogs, whatever the case is. So it's really an opportunity for brands to tap into the audience of influencers and people that have, these huge followings and be able to build that brand awareness, get sales, of course, but ultimately just really build that social proof. It's so important nowadays with this social media. People are not buying the same. So influencer marketing really allows the brands to really get in front of customers that likely they would have to pay thousands and millions of dollars to get in front of through traditional marketing. So it's really a great opportunity for brands to partner with different people to really get in front of the right audience. There's different type of influencer marketing collaborations and things like that. So there's gifted collabs where brands can send influencers products for free to promote. There's paid opportunities where influencers can get paid per post. So if a brand wants to send them a product, they can get paid their rate. And there's also affiliate marketing, which is more of our lane. And it's really just an opportunity for influencers to share products and earn commissions from any product that their audience purchases. So there's a lot of different nuances to it. But in general, it's just an opportunity for brands to get in front of more audience and more customers.
I love that. And Jordyn, so a lot of our listeners are small business owners or those who are just starting out. So how can they kind of use influencer marketing to gain that visibility and reach a wider audience? Like, would you say one type is better than the other, or what would you say for someone who's just starting out?
For brands that are just starting out, I think definitely gifted collaborations and affiliate partnerships are the best way, because gifted is really just an opportunity for you to share that product, get feedback. A lot of times those are like no strings attached, but ultimately the main thing that these brands want is just more visibility and brand awareness. So those gifted collaborations are really great because it allows you to send the influencer a product that likely, resonates with who they are, the type of content that they create, and really allows your brand to get in front of their audience. So that's a great opportunity because you don't have to come off thousands of dollars for one post or whatever the case is. So you can kind of really stay within your means as far as like your marketing budget or whatever you have and get products out to influencers. And then I would say affiliate marketing is definitely another great approach, because affiliate marketing is not just for influencers with crazy followings. It's also for like those top supporters who, we like to call them brand champions, but who are like your loyal supporters who love your brand, ride or dies per se. And they're the ones who are already vouching for your brand. And it really allows those brands to tap into those customers and say, hey, we love you for supporting us. We love the support. And here's an affiliate link if you want to share this with your audience and earn affiliate commissions every time that they purchase. So I would definitely say gifted collaborations and affiliate marketing is definitely the way to go for emerging brands, and even later stage brands, just to really have the opportunity to affordably connect with influencers and continue to build those relationships.
Okay, I love that. And so in all of this, what role does representation and diversity play in influencer marketing? And why do you think it's important for entrepreneurs to consider this aspect, especially Black entrepreneurs?
Diversity plays a huge role in everything, because when you just think about just the nature of the world, the U.S. in particular, like we're called the minority, but really we're the majority, right? Even with the buying power of particularly Black spenders and the Black community, there's so much money there. And so to really tap into diversity on all fronts, whether you're a Black owned brand or not, like that is a scalable, that is a profitable way to go to really target and focus on Black owned businesses, Black creators, Black consumers. So diversity is huge, and it's so important because it's really a matter of showing people that their value when it comes down to spending money, their hard-earned money, especially this day and age of inflation and people losing jobs. Like, you got to really fight for people to, want to support you and give you their money. So just that diversity really allows brands to show, hey, we value you and your community and, your lifestyle. And it's a matter of really just pouring into these different creators who are oftentimes left behind and not getting paid accurately or equally. So diversity, equity, all that is so important, especially influencer marketing, because it's huge, especially with social media now. Like, influencer marketing is not going anywhere, and really tapping into diverse creators is just a strong way for brands to really stay culturally relevant, for sure. And
for you as a social impact leader and entrepreneur, what inspired you to focus on the issue of equity in influencer marketing? Because I remember you talking about earlier, you grew up around entrepreneurs, but then also you went to HBCU and then being near where Black Wall Street. So for you, like, what inspired you to focus on this issue?
That's such a great question. So all transparency, like, I did not grow up saying, I want to be an influencer. I want to work in influencer marketing. That is something that kind of came after the fact. So I like to say I'm an innovator. Like, I am a problem solver. If I can see that there's a problem that I want to solve, I can find a way to solve it. So that's really how this came about. Just, I knew I was passionate about bringing Black brands to the forefront. That's really not even just my company's mission, but like my personal mission. So when I look at the landscape, I'm like, okay, how are we going to do this? Like, 'cause there's this Buy Black movement going on, but it's not, sticking like it needs to. So it's like, how can we really create something that is culturally relevant, something that people want, something that's cool, and, it just fits in with the times that we're in right now, and just really being able to look, influencer marketing, like, it's a $16 billion market. How we can learn more about this industry and see how influencers can really create a pathway for Black-owned brands to get more recognition, to grow more, to be at the forefront, to become these household names. And that's really where it starts, right? Influence, whether you're a celebrity, whether you're, a professional, whatever the case is, like, that influence is what matters the most when it comes to, like, growing a brand. So that's really how I personally kind of got into the influencer marketing space. I'm kind of, I guess you can call it influencer now. I'm creating content primarily to Black-owned brands. But like I said, that was never like the first thought. it was like the after effect when I'm like really looking at the landscape of things and just learning how powerful influencer marketing is and how influencers in general and social media content really influences buying decisions. So that's really how it came about. It really just started just the passion of my desire to see more people shop Black and understanding how we can do that, and influencer marketing is the perfect way.
Love that. And so let's talk about the current state of influencer marketing when it comes to Black brands, so people can see like, okay, where are we now? So what do you think, would you say are the specific challenges and barriers that Black brands encounter within the influencer marketing industry currently?
So the biggest challenge, I think, not even within the influencer marketing industry, but I just think in general, is definitely just historically Black brands are underserved, undersupported, underfunded. So when we think about brands growing and scaling, getting more visibility, having the marketing dollars to run ads, the money to pay influencers, the money for inventory, like that's a challenge that most businesses just aren't able to accommodate, right? They don't have the funds. Their main focus is on getting sales. They don't have the money to bring on other people to run an influencer program or to find influencers, to run their social media. So I think overall, the biggest challenge and the barrier for Black brands is just being underfunded and undersupported. And I kind of look at that as like a cycle. If they're underfunded, like they don't have the means to get the support. And if they're not supported, they don't have the funds. So it's really like a cycle. And that's really why, I think it's so important for, different opportunities for brands to really come in and do those gifted collabs or affiliate partnerships to really still be able to tap into the market, but really in a way that they can afford it and not have to go broke trying to get an influencer to promote their product,
And one of the things you also spoke about was this is a $16 billion market. I was like, wow. So I want to kind of elaborate on what's going on when it comes to the racial biases, the pay gaps, and the lack of representation that exists in the industry and how they are affecting Black brands and influencers. So where are we in comparison to counterparts?
So yeah, $16 billion, like that's a lot of money. That's when you think about it. I even heard something recently that like brands are not even really spending money on ads anymore. They're paying influencers because that's what's selling, right? Yeah. So it's a huge market, $1 billion market. But when we look at how it affects or how Black brands and influencers play a role in that, they're not reaping the benefits. When it goes down to representation, and when we look on influencer platforms where a lot of these top influencers are going to secure paid brand deals, Black brands aren't on these platforms. So going back to that cycle, if they're not on these platforms, influencers can't find them. Influencers with thousands and millions of followers can't find them. And these brands aren't getting that recognition. These brands aren't getting in front of different customers. So that takes away from their profitability and visibility, and things like that. So representation is key. But even, on the influencer front, these Black influencers, they're looking for brand deals. They're looking for other opportunities to get paid and monetize their audience. But when they go on these platforms and all there are is just like non-Black brands, right? And of course, they'll take the deals. But a lot of times these influencers are getting passed up because, you don't fit our audience, or, it doesn't really represent our brand. So it's also that lack of representation on that front. So all around, it really just comes down to just having the opportunity to work with brands and influencers that resonate with the right audience. So that's what is so important at this point. It's just really just giving those brands and influencers an opportunity to monetize in this industry. So that's really one of the main things in terms of representation. And then as far as the pay gaps go, I mean, that was the main thing that made me look into this industry in itself. Yeah. Around the same time of I call it the Buy Black movement, but it was around the same time with George Floyd's passing away and the Black Lives Matter movement. And around that same time, TikTok influencers were going on strikes and this Pay Black Creator movement was happening. And I was like, well, there's definitely something there. We're talking about supporting Black businesses and these influencers are getting what they need. Like, what's happening? So I was just learning that these Black creators who have the most engagement on these platforms, who have the most influence and, making these platforms relevant, right? With the dances, they're being underpaid. And that's even at a high level. These influencers with millions of followers and hundreds and thousands of followers, they're still being undercut as well, to a point where they make 35% less than white creators. Wow. So that's a huge gap when we're talking about $16 billion. So that's really why it's so important to, like I said, bridge the gap for these brands and influencers to really kind of create our own ecosystem when it comes to the social commerce landscape, and really making sure that consumers are aware of Black-owned brands and the influencers are promoting them so these Black-owned brands can grow, be able to pay these creators, in a competitive way, and continue that cycle of just supporting Black, buying Black, paying Black creators. And that's what's really important and our main focus as well.
I love that. And that's a perfect segue into my next question around the significance of shopping Black and really supporting Black-owned brands. So can you talk about, because you also mentioned it and we hear it all the time, but for you, like, what does it mean to you when someone says, or to shop Black, and why it's a significant movement in today's business landscape? So what does that mean to shop Black?
Shop Black, what it means is really just supporting Black-owned businesses as much as you can. And it definitely, for it to be effective, it has to be more than just a one-time thing or a one type of thing. It really has to be part of our lifestyle for it to really make a huge impact on our community. Because for me, it's a lot deeper than just supporting Black-owned brands. When we talk about racial issues that we're facing and just political issues that we're facing, it just comes down to who has the power. And if we don't have if we don't have the money, we definitely don't have the power. When we think about the buying power, the purchasing power that the Black community has, it's almost $6 trillion, right? $1.6 trillion. And it's huge. It's huge, and it can do wonders for our community if that number is going into our community. So that is so important because buying Black creates opportunities for healthcare, it creates opportunities for education, it creates opportunities for our community to just have everything that it needs. So buying Black for me is definitely like a lifestyle. I am that friend when it comes to wherever we're going to brunch or wherever owned, for one. Like my friends at this point, you already know, like, it has to be Black owned. It doesn't have to be all the time, but I'm going to be the one like, hey, I think there's a Black owned brand right over there. So it just has to be a part of that, like your lifestyle, or like you have to be conscious about it. Right. So of course, I'm a little bit absurd with it. I'm very serious about it, but not everyone is like that. So it's just a matter of like, hey, like, oh, I see this Black owned brand that this influencer posted. Let me go purchase, or it could be my friend. It's just a matter of really just making that conscious effort to put our hard-earned money into these Black-owned brands so they can grow, so they can scale, so they can become these household names, right? But they can't do it alone. It really takes a collective. So shopping Black is really just an opportunity for us to like create that generational wealth that we love to talk about. And that's something that I think is so important because in this landscape of social media, there's so many people talking about building wealth, generational wealth, which should definitely be the talk of town, right? But nobody really talks about supporting Black-owned businesses and how that really, is a direct correlation to wealth and generational wealth. So that's really why I think it's so important, like, to bring these brands to the forefront and to really, show people that like supporting Black-owned businesses is the number one way to building Black wealth. There was something that I read recently from the 15% pledge, and they said if we just shop Black, that's $670 billion that can be going into the hands of Black-owned businesses in revenue. And that can do wonders. That's generational wealth that we're talking about, That's these businesses becoming these unicorns and, launching IPOs and going public that we have the power to create. So it's really, really important when we just talk about generational wealth. I think, to me, if you ask me, supporting Black-owned businesses is the number one way to build Black wealth, generational wealth that we all talk about. So that's why it's important to me.
And I agree. Totally agree with that. Love that. And so let's make it full circle because I know we talked about it, but I just want to make it known in this section. How does shopping Black like align with your mission and the goals for Forefront, and kind of talk about how your platform facilitates this process and how you're helping these brands become those household names?
Yeah. So shopping Black is the core of Forefront. That is the why, the mission. That is how it all started. And how we do that is really we're a marketplace where people are able to discover and shop these Black-owned brands, and they're also able to get paid to share them. And what makes us kind of unique in this space is you don't have to be a mega crazy big influencer to be able to earn online, right? So we really just create that opportunity for, brands to get that exposure, to work with influencers, and also turn their top supporters into their influencers, to really help them to continue to grow online and, get that visibility and recognition. So Forefront is really kind of just creating that place, that ecosystem for brands to earn and thrive, for influencers, and also for consumers, because this day and age, when it comes to brands, consumers are like their bread and butter, of course. They're the ones, making the engine run. So, we're really kind of putting that power back into consumers as well, outside of these social media content creators. You can be a consumer, and I just love this brand that I found on Forefront, and I want to be able to promote them and be able to earn an income as well. So it's a great way for brands to reward their top supporters for loyalty, in a way that doesn't cost them an arm and a leg, in a way that's simple, in a way that's affordable, and just efficient for all. So that's really how Forefront is kind of coming in to really cultivate this Buy Black landscape and really make it more of a norm. And influencers are essentially our bread and butter. And when I say influencers, we call them brand champs. So you can be a shopper or you can be an influencer. And, how they really kind of cultivate that space of, our mission of bringing Black brands to the forefront. When they shop these products, they're able to share it on social media, share it with their friends, and whatever the way they want to. So if you're a content creator, create some content. If you just want to post on your story and share it, you'll be surprised how many people actually go and click it and purchase that product. And I believe that those people should get paid for it. So that's really what Forefront is being able to do. Just create an opportunity for brands to earn and thrive, for influencers as well as consumers.
I love that. And speaking of brand champs, how does that differ from traditional influencer marketing approaches?
So I think overall, the influencer marketing industry is changing in a way that you don't need to have millions of followers. Right now, micro creators are kind of running things at this point. And that's because they kind of have that authenticity. They have that close-knit relationship with their audience and their supporters. So they're the ones, they can post a product and everyone's going to buy because they have that rapport with that influencer. They trust that influencer, right? So that's really what Forefront is focusing on, that micro influencer, that creator that has that support, that has that type of credibility with their audience. And they're able to really go in and promote these products for affiliate commissions. So there's a difference between influencer marketing and affiliate marketing, though they're very similar. Forefront really focuses on affiliate marketing because it allows people to get paid for what they're able to bring in. And it helps the brands because they don't have to come off, thousands of dollars up front. If you're bringing in thousands of dollars, we can give you, a compensation. So that's really how it works. And so how that differs is really just the affiliate marketing side. So, and also another way how we're different and how it sets, our influencers apart from other platforms is really just an opportunity for someone who doesn't have thousands of followers or millions of followers to come on, right? So you can be a market creator. I don't want to say we don't care, but that's not a priority of ours, of your follower count. We care about, do you love this brand and that authenticity? Because that's really what's selling. People can look at your video, can tell you're reading your script and you don't really like this product. So that's really our Brand Champs program. It really allows, people to become their own influencer and turn their influence into income by supporting Black-owned brands. So that's really how we're kind of different, just the affiliate marketing piece, but even just the opportunity for everyday people to become a brand champ for their favorite brands and to really, become that loyal shopper and also get paid for it.
I love that. And are there any success stories that you can think of that you could share from shoppers or influencers who have become brand champs?
I think my favorite success story so far is with the company that we partner with our lookbook. So before we are in the process of launching our marketplace, we launched a lookbook, just kind of an easy place for brands and influencers to connect for partnerships. And so we started to partner with a company called Black Girl Vitamins, and amazing company started by a Black woman doctor, and she wanted to create, holistic, safe, natural vitamins to help Black women, be more healthy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So something really unique and creative that I personally love, and I actually kind of became their brand champ in a sense, but we were able to connect them with over 25 influencers, and they essentially handed over their affiliate program to us to kind of manage. So we gave them influencers, and we were able to really kind of cultivate that relationship of like managing their influencers and making sure that they had all they needed. And I also love that partnership because it wasn't just a great opportunity for the brand Black Girl Vitamins, but it was a great opportunity for these micro creators who were on these platforms and they were struggling to get brand deals. So a lot of those influencers that work with Black Girl Vitamins, that was their first partnership. And a lot of them are still going strong, still selling products for them, and just, really becoming their brand champion. They're, educating their audience on Black Girl Vitamins and just the power of their vitamins and what they're doing, but also educating them on how Black women have a vitamin D deficiency and different things like that. Stuff I didn't even know before.
Right.
So, more than just selling products, really educating and really creating a healthier ecosystem for our people to live in. So, I think that's where it kind of goes deeper than just shopping Black and influencer marketing. It's really just, we kind of know what our community needs, Black owned brand, creating vitamins for our people to make us, more aware of the deficiencies that we have. That's so important to me. And I think that's why diversity in itself is so important, because I never heard that from these other vitamin brands that I might see on Instagram, right? So Black Girl Vitamins is definitely one of those success stories that I'm, really excited about. I'm excited to continue to have them on our marketplace, to continue to grow and, really support them on their mission. So that's one of my favorites.
That is beautiful. And what advice or tips would you give for individuals who are listening and they're interested in becoming brand champs on Forefront?
The main thing I would say is really just come and get ready to really discover some dope brands and to really have an opportunity to be yourself. I think that's, a great value add that what Forefront is doing, and really kind of focusing on Black brands and creators. We kind of have our own thing. We have our own vibe, our own culture in a sense, and we can embrace that versus working with the type of brand and kind of feel like you have to diminish it a little bit. So you can come as you are, create the content on your own terms, essentially be who you are, show up how you want to be, and really just be ready and prepared to share dope brands with your audience. And that's really what it's all about. No crazy requirements. You don't have to have 20,000 followers or have worked with X amount of brands. It's really just, having that passion and that commitment to uplift dope brands, shop dope brands, and share them with your audience. And that's really it.
I love it. And so, Jordyn, we've talked all about just understanding the basics. I'm so happy that you have shared with us how to understand the basics of the industry, and then also understanding the current state and where we are as Black people shopping Black. And it brings me to all of this, why is it crucial for the industry to address these issues that we are facing and create a more equitable environment? Why should they care?
The industry should care. It's kind of going back to the buying power. If you are talking about running a business and growing and scaling, and you are not thinking about how you can include Black people for specifically, but just diverse people and diversity and, inclusion in general, then that's really kind of just on you. But just the way the world is going, diversity is key. Diversity is the glue that we all need to continue to move forward. Representation matters. And when you are talking about the people who hold the largest buying power in America, it's kind of talk to us nicely,
right.
Really correct, come with respect, come, ready to really have our best interests at heart, because a lot of times these influencers are starting to out these brands at this point. If these brands are not staying true to who they are portraying, if they're not, doing anything for Black History Month, if they're not doing anything for Black Business Month, or they're not paying these creators the same rate that they're paying white, they're getting called out. So it's at this point, it's for the best interest of your company to really include Black creators specifically. Because at this point, we're tired, we're fed up. We all are. Even if you're not a creator, we're tired of kind of being like the underdogs. And I think we're at the point where we're recognizing our power in all fronts. And like, if you're not going to value us, we're going to go somewhere else. And hopefully, you know, these people come to forefront. That's really what we're here to embrace. But like, that's really what it's about. Like, support and love Black people, people of color, and really value us, or we're going to go elsewhere. So like, I think that's the bottom line, just in terms of on a brand that's so important. Just value us, or be prepared to, you know, find somebody else.
Get somebody else to do it.
Get somebody else to do it. And that's literally what it is.
Yes, I love it. And so one of the things I love that you spoke about was your background in the beginning, in fashion, your interest in fashion business, and then how you went for your master's. So how have all these things, like your background, helped you in business, or just help how you approach things in business?
That's a great question. So for me, it really comes down to just like creativity and innovation. Like that could be so many different things, but that's something that I was able to kind of recognize in college. I'm like, this fashion stuff is kind of like making me more creative than this business stuff, and like really being able to put different things together. So I definitely have an eye for design, and like it kind of goes deeper than just like the color or something, or the font or something, or like how this shirt looks. It's like really like I have an eye for how this vision of Forefront is going to play out, and how it needs to look to be portrayed, how, you know, a certain way, you know. So I think overall it really kind of just comes with that creativity and innovation, and just being able to recognize, you know, the best way to stay dope, to stay culturally relevant, to stay, you know, at the eye, in the heart of the consumers that we're working with. So I would definitely say like that's really the main thing. I mean, I grew up always loving fashion, and I never really like tie that into, and, you know, even now I'm not really big into fashion, but I think overall just being able to like have a vision and create it, whether it's in fashion, whether it's, you know, a business, whether it's, you know, a piece of art, like that's really how it all comes together, and just a matter of just like having a strategy to execute. So that's how.
I love it. And so as a leader, how do you stay organized and just on top of things? Like, are there any tools or resources that have really helped you in your entrepreneurial journey?
Right now, I'm really tapping into the AI tools. Like I'm a founder, so I'm not going to say I'm doing it all on my own, but a lot of like the nitty gritty stuff I'm taking care of. And like the AI tools, like definitely ChatGPT is definitely, you know, really helping me with some of the things I don't really care to do. Like if it's a matter of like sending emails or email campaigns, different things like that, like that's not my forte. So that's definitely something I'm taking advantage of and leveraging a lot more at ChatGPT and just some of the other AI tools for social media, and come up with captions. Cause like I'd rather design it. The caption, like that's how I was like, dang, what am I going to do? So I'm really looking to like, you know, the AI tools for that. And I think even outside of like tangible tools, some of the other things that's really helping me or has helped me on my journey is really just like stepping into like different accelerators and communities with other like-minded founders and entrepreneurs who are building in tech, right? Because, you know, running a startup, launching a startup, like that is a whole different ball game. Like you really are innovating in a space. You're creating something that, you know, essentially the world hasn't seen before. And like you really need to, you know, tap into different resources and support groups to like learn as much as possible. So I'm involved like a lot of different accelerators. We actually just got accepted into Pharrell's Black Ambition semi finalists. So really excited about that.
Congrats.
Thank you so much. And so just being in I'm excited about that, because all the companies are just dope, and just being able to learn from them and just meet them and just create those relationships, like that's so important. And I think that's something that's so, you know, undervalued sometimes. Like it's all about social media and this and that, but sometimes it's just like this person you met in this accelerator, like they're vouching for you in this room, and hey, like, you know, they can really support you, or you can really support them. So that has really been an amazing tool for me, just learning so many different things, learning about different opportunities, funding opportunities. So definitely like key for me.
Awesome. And so what advice would you give to someone who's in their first year of business?
Get prepared. It's not going to be easy. And that's something that I wish I knew before. And it sounds cliche, but literally when you get to those hard parts, it's kind of like, what did you expect? So that's kind of where I am now, just kind of coming to terms that this is not going to be an easy road. You're going to get no's. You're going to get people who don't believe in you. And at first, it does kind of hurt your feelings a little bit. But something I'm really realizing is just you just have to stay true to your vision. And a lot of times, a vision is supposed to be seen. It's not supposed to be heard. So if people are not understanding, it's not for them. It's your vision, and you really just have to show them. So kind of just get in the mindset that you're not always going to get the support from people. You're not always going to, things are not always going to work out how you want, but just continue to focus on the vision, keep your eye on the prize, and don't give up. I've kind of really been building Forefront since 2017, even though it was started off as something different, but it's been the same vision, and just, not giving up. That's key. You know what I'm saying? So I would say don't give up, have a vision, be clear on your vision, and don't let anyone take you away from your vision.
I love that. Love that. Now let's get into a couple of fun questions, not so serious business section. Okay. So the first question is, which TV show do you wish still aired?
That's a good one. I'll probably say so many are coming in my mind at one time. Anything on Disney Channel, I'm a Disney Channel girl. My show growing up, and it's definitely has changed. I would say anything on Disney Channel, That's So Raven, of course, is definitely I wanted that room that she had. So I definitely, I would definitely say Disney Channel, that entire show or program, but definitely That's So Raven for sure.
Good one. And what's the most random social media account you follow?
I'm really into those car detailing pages. Those are so satisfying. Cleaning the car, cleaning rugs. That is the most random thing that I follow. Probably.
That is very random.
Yeah, but I mean, if you haven't seen it, I promise, when you're just in a overwhelmed mood, go watch those cars. That it soothes your mind.
I take that. I can see that though. I can see it because it's how did you go from there, this looking like this, to that clean?
Yes. I mean, it was one of those things that just randomly came on my timeline, and then I was really into it. So they start to come up more and more. But yes, my oddly satisfaction.
Love it. And what's the blackest thing you've done recently?
The blackest thing I've done recently. I mean, I pretty much buy black every day. As much if I'm going out of the house, I'm going to black-owned coffee shop. I am black-owned brand in some way. I really do practice what I preach. So I would say that's the blackest thing, because I'm sure there are people out there, but in terms of people that I know, I feel like I'm the one that supports black-owned businesses the most, and I love that. So I feel like just supporting black-owned businesses every day is the blackest thing that I do every day.
Love it. Perfect answer.
I'm not just being black.
Yes. And finally, what does it mean to you to be black in business?
I love that. To be black in business is to be just a visionary. I think just being black in general, we have so many just barriers that are keeping us back from so many different things. And so we can only dream for change. We can only dream for just change in general. So I just think just definitely being a visionary and being able to see something before it comes to life, that is just really, I think, important for all entrepreneurs, but particularly Black entrepreneurs. because we know what's needed for our community. We all have that drive. No matter what you're doing, I'm sure like community is definitely somewhere in your mind. So I think just being a visionary, it means breaking barriers. It means being resilient. It means being innovative, because you have to find ways around the system that's not here to serve you. So being an innovator, being a visionary, and just being dope. I just feel like being Black, like you're just naturally creative and you're going to do things in a dope way. And so I think all of that, just dope, innovative, a visionary.
Love it. Jordyn, this has been so good. And I know people who are listening, they're going to want to know, how can they find you, support you, and please do share how they can do so and connect with you.
Yes. So you all can find Forefront on all social media platforms at Forefront ATL. You all can find me, all social media platforms, Jordyn the Goat, JordynDagoat. And you all can definitely check out Forefront. Our marketplace is launching on August 1st, which is right around the corner, just in time for Black Business Month. So super excited about that. And we're actually still looking for brands to join our marketplace. So that's definitely an opportunity for you all to, learn more about what we're doing. So you all can check us out at theforefrontatl.com.
Lovely. Jordyn, thank you again for being on the Black to Business podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
I hope today's episode of the Black to Business podcast was beneficial for you. We learned all about equity and influencer marketing by empowering Black brands and influencers with our lovely guest today, Jordyn Weaver of Forefront. And before we go, I just want to go through some of the key takeaways from the conversation. I love how Jordyn shared how her upbringing in a family of entrepreneurs influenced her passion for economic empowerment and her drive to create change in the influencer marketing industry. And I also love how she broke down what it actually means to shop Black. We hear it so much, but really understanding what it means to support and shop Black and also empower our community, so many gems. You can dive deeper into the resources and insights shared by Jordyn by visiting blacktobusiness.com/156. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of the Black to Business community. We appreciate your support and listenership, and I will chat with you next week, same time, same place.